Hey folks, Mr. Deason here. Here to talk a little bit about a specific question. I want to go through a quick little experiment and a little bit of a model. And we'll talk about what an experiment and a model is and why we're going to do that. Here's our question. Okay, you do something like this because you want to answer a question. And I want to find out what would happen if I actually have water flowing through land or flowing on rock, flowing through a sediment. What's it going to do? Okay, we're looking for life on Mars. We're looking for evidence of life. We've decided that water is important, so we need to see what does water do? How do we look for evidence on Mars if we can't be there and just look for actual, bacteria or things like that? Can we find evidence of water? Okay, so here's our question. What happens when water runs on rock or soil over time? Now, the model and the experiment we're going to be doing is going to be simulating millions of years in about 30 seconds. Okay? So every time a second goes by, it could be 5 million years. And that's how long it takes for just the trickle of water to run through rock and to actually change it. So it's a quick experiment, but this would happen over millions of years in the real world. Okay? So the model that we're talking about is we're going to try and show how that would happen on a small scale. Okay? I can't go out and dump a whole, just decide to put a river in a certain place. Going out and observing that is hard sometimes, but we can do that right here. I can do it in my backyard. You can do it in your sink or on your driveway or somewhere. That's easy to do, and we can see what happens, and that hopefully, if we do it right, will translate to and look like what it would look like on Mars if there were water, and what it looks like indeed on Earth. Okay. First thing you got to have is the proper materials. Number one, you need some liquid water. I have a container right here. It's better if you have a little more water, but it'll work with a small amount of water like this. I also have a table. This is actually a stream table, okay? It is a specific science thing. It's got a hole in it. You could make something like this with an old if something that doesn't have holes in it, one of those flats for growing plants and things like that can be done that way. Technically, you could use a board. It doesn't have to be like this. It doesn't have to have a hole. If it's just something flat, it can go down and do that. You could use a board. You could use your driveway. Put some dirt on your driveway. Ask your family permission to do these things. This is taped. If you do this stuff and it blows stuff up, it's not my fault. It's taped. I on tape said ask your family first. Okay, so you can use, like I said, you can use a board. I'm going to use a stream table. Okay, this actually works as well. This is a plate with some flour. Okay, so you could actually use a plate. If I were to do this on a plate like this, I would do it outside or I would do it in the sink. Again, ask your family, let them know what you're doing, and ask them before you start using the flour. Okay, so after the tray table, you need some sediment. Okay, I actually got this. This is sand and gravel that I actually got from the Mad River. So this is real sediment. As you can see, the rocks are rounded. We talked about that in some of the other videos. And if you look, you will see a variety of different sizes and shapes, most of them rounded. You can see that some of this sand is so fine that it's actually just blowing away, okay? And other pieces are large, okay? So you need that, and you have to prop it up. So you're going to need something to give it an angle. If you do it flat and you pour water on it, it's just going to go flat out, and I don't think it'll work as well. So I just found this in my yard. You can put a rock, you can put a book. If you're in the sink, you could grab a cup and put it under whatever you're doing. You're going to want if you're going to do your plate, you want to have something tilt up. So a couple of forks or whatever you're going to do, you want to have it tilted up. And we're going to do that. Now, excuse me. Before we do our model, okay, the idea behind this is to take water, and I'm going to spread this out a little bit. And then my idea is to pour the water on this and to see what happens. Okay? So before we do that, we always like to make a prediction based on what we know already. What do you think will happen when you pour that water on either the flower or on here? What do you think you will see afterwards? Okay? You got to start with what you see now. Okay? So when we write this down, you're going to have a place. Here is what I have done. I have taken the sand, I have put it into my tray. And this is called a procedure. So I'm writing down the steps that I have done. So take the sand, take the tray table, prop it up, place the sand or gravel or whatever you're using, soil, into your tray table or into your plate. Okay? Prop it up. So you'd have to have it propped up. And then you have to make a prediction. So what do you think is going to happen when you do that? All right? You are going to do this. So I would like you to go ahead and stop the video. Before, you want to get your materials. You want to get your things set up. You want to get it propped. And before you do it, okay, you must make a prediction. Don't make a prediction afterwards. It's not a prediction. It's just an observation. Okay? So you're going to make a prediction. What do you think it will look like? I recommend also on your paper, I think there's a place for you to put a drawing. So when you predict, I want you to predict in words. Give me about 3 sentences. I think that, if you want it, starter is a good way. I think that, blah, 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 and you tell me what it'll be. And then I want you to draw what you have, a before. So for me, I would draw this table. I would just have some dark mound, and then I would draw the after. What do I think it's going to look like? Okay? Your drawings don't have to be perfect. If you're a person who says, I can't draw, first of all, it's not true. You can't draw well. Not as well as some people, okay? There's a lot of people in this class who can draw better than I can. Don't worry about it, all right? So you want to draw that before and draw that after, and that gives us a visual prediction, okay? Let's give it a try. Have fun. Make sure you take good observations, because the end, once we get this done, and we'll run through that in a minute. Once we get this done, we're going to want to do our observations and find out exactly what happened, and then we'll start trying to talk about why. Okay? See you soon.